charge of a remote team and don't know what to do or where to start? Well, sit back, relax, and grab a drink. I've got just the thing. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, your go-to place for building a dream career and achieving your highest potential. I'm Allie, and today we have another segment of Triple T where I reveal my top tips on anything related to career, work, or leadership. And for today, I'm going to be discussing how you can effectively manage remote teams. We've been seeing an increased use of virtual teams over the year, and now with COVID, it's more than guaranteed that we're going to see an even greater increase once we return to the workplace. Although this offers several benefits, the removal of face-to-face interaction complicates how leaders lead their teams. It makes it difficult for them to monitor employees' performance, build relationships, even schedule meetings. And so this really raises the question of how can we navigate these challenges? How can we effectively lead virtual teams? And so to help you with this, I'm going to reveal my top go-to tips for leading virtual teams. As I reveal these tips, make sure to let me know in the comments below what your experience has been with virtual teams and what has and hasn't worked for you. Otherwise, let's get started. As for my first tip, you need to establish trust. With the removal of face-to-face interaction, it's easy for us to be wary of each other. It's easy for us to question whether or not we're doing our work or fudging our hours. And so as a leader, it's up to you to create a culture that values trust. You need to first be open and transparent with everyone if you want that in return. And then you need to actively listen to them. Even if they say things that you don't like, don't criticize or make underhanded comments towards them. Do these things and you're going to see that your team is starting to evolve and start to trust one another. And ultimately, you're going to see that they're more effective and productive with their work. As for my next tip, you want to be relationship oriented. With the removal of physical location, it makes it difficult for your team members to interact with each other and build solid relationships. And so as a leader, it's up to you to create those opportunities for them. And so now you need to prioritize socializing. Create some opportunities for your members to get together and just talk to one another. This doesn't have to be business related. Make it a social gathering where they can talk to each other as human beings and not co-workers. Now, because this is going to be virtual, that does mean you have to get creative, and so don't be afraid to try some new things. By allowing them to build solid relationships, you're going to see that your team is more cohesive and in turn performing better. And so it's important for you to develop a relationship mindset. As for my next tip, you need to redefine communication. With the removal of face-to-face interaction, we're losing valuable information needed to understand how someone is conveying a message. And so to avoid a lot of the conflict and tension that's associated with email etiquette, you need to go over with your members what to expect and how to get around some of the pitfalls of conversing online. Maybe you want to even establish some boundaries about what can and can't be done, or maybe even allow the use of emojis just to make sure that you can communicate some form of emotion and avoid offending someone. But you just need to make sure that everybody's on the same page about what to expect and what isn't offensive, so that way you can avoid a lot of the conflict that goes on with miscommunication. So just go over email etiquette with your team and just redefine what communication is for you. As for my next tip, you want to set clear goals. With everybody going virtual, it's easy for us to forget what the main point is or what the ultimate objective is. And so as a leader, it's up to you to clarify what those goals are. You want to make sure that everybody's on the same page by sending something that is visible for everybody to read. On top of that, you want to make sure you identify what the final deliverables are and when it should be sent to you. Now, something I do want to emphasize is that you don't want to micromanage, so do not tell them how to do things. Just tell them what you want the final product to look like, but don't do anything more than that, otherwise it will be detrimental to your team. As for my next tip, you want to check in regularly. When you're in office, it's easy for you to stop by a cubicle and just ask somebody how they're doing and if they need any help or advice on anything. But with everything being virtual, you're now going to have to schedule one-on-one meetings so you can make sure that everybody's on the same page. So use this as an opportunity to not only monitor progress and keep them accountable for their work, but for them to ask you questions about what your expectations are. This is a great way to clarify goals as well as build relationships with your members. And so use this as an opportunity to develop your team and make sure that everybody stays on track. As for my last tip, you just need to be supportive. Everybody's going to have different situations, and it's up to you to be flexible and understanding of those situations. There could be family interruptions, pet interruptions, time barriers, cultural barriers, you name it. There's so many things that could end up hindering the progress of your team's work. And so you just need to be understanding of it and be flexible if possible. So if something happens, don't reprimand them. Don't think that's because they're lying to you. Just be supportive. That is a great way to develop your team's relationships as well as build trust. And there you have it, my top tips for leading virtual teams. Virtual teams present their unique challenges, but by using my tips, you're going to be able to easily navigate through those challenges. So now I'm going to hand the mic over to you. What do you think about today's video? What has your experience been with virtual teams? What has and hasn't worked for you? Make sure you let me know in the comments below. I'm curious about what you think. And if you really loved today's video, make sure you stay tuned for this Thursday where I'm going to be discussing whether or not remote work is actually productive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified of my latest videos, and make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure having you all today. Until we drink again. Take it easy, everyone. So if you couldn't tell, I've already eaten some of this. I could not wait for this video. It's so good. So yeah, sorry I couldn't wait. So yeah, it's a good cake.